Okay, so this next question is a really, really good one, and I want to preface it by saying that, you know, cholesterol meds and statins and all these things are big business. I mean, my own father has been put on statins, and I've seen a health change for the worse by these statins, and my research into them has shown just really kind of the benefit to them is not really that great. But we have somebody here who's actually got a real world experience. So Uncle Dean has a story about medical procedure that they're asking for him to do.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know how this works, but I went to the doctor. The doctor says my health was really bad. She put me on statins, high blood pressure medicine, and this is all before I started this diet. I mean, I just started this like a week before, and I lost like 10 pounds in the first week. I was like, whoa.
Good job.
And now that I'm on this diet, I'm just gonna have to keep monitoring. But the doctor says that my A1C was like 6.7, and I had high blood pressure. So I had high blood pressure medicine going into me, and then Lipitor. So I'm still taking those medicines, but I'm trying to get rid of them so I don't have to take them anymore.
How old are you?
I'm 58 right
58,
now.
okay.
I'm going to be 59 at the end of this year. And I'm listening to the doctor, and I'm listening to all the information that I can get so that I can get better for myself.
Right.
And I believe that this keto diet is actually a better way to go. It seems like a lot of people that don't really realize that how we got this thing about our arteries getting clogged by the fat we eat. I don't think it's true. I think it's a lie. I think that people gotta be taught and educated. And a lot of people like me, hey, I grew up with rice, right? So it's like I eat rice every day.
Right.
Every day. I mean, 3 times a day, rice, right?
Real.
But now I just completely cut it out, and I feel a lot better. And it looks like I'm losing weight, and I'm keeping my weight down. I lost like almost 20 pounds now.
Damn.
And so, yeah, my doctor just says don't lose it too fast. Or just kind of take it easy, because if you lose it too fast, it's not good for you or something like that. So I don't know. I just listen to what the doctor says. Right?
Well, so again, internal medicine, we are about the chronic nature of things. When it comes to losing weight, when most of my patients would lose weight over the last 20 years, they were doing it on a low-fat diet. And unfortunately, if they would do it very quickly, their metabolism would shut down really hard. So I worry that the reason your doctor is saying don't lose the weight very quickly is because if you're losing it with a low-fat diet as opposed to a high-fat diet, it correlates to a really low metabolism. And they come in like 8 months into their weight loss, and sure, they've got the numbers down, but they're kind of limp. They're kind of really,
not active,
it's really hard. So they're not healthy.
Can't do anything. Still
right?
Low energy.
Mm-hmm. So I don't find that with my keto weight losses. I find their metabolism has been really strong, and I don't have any warnings about how fast to lose weight. I think whatever your body will put more rules and regulations into play than I ever will, and I contend that it knows what it's doing a lot more than my guidelines have known over the last last 3 decades that I've been studying medicine and practicing. So if you look at the other things that are they're very difficult for the average patient to navigate, and that is what happens when your doctor says, I want you on a statin, and you just started on a keto diet. So cholesterol is a wonderful part of our body that you need to repair. So when people say, hey, your cholesterol's high, if you ask 30 people walking down the street right now, they would say, do you think cholesterol's good or bad? They would say, oh, it's bad, oh, it's bad, oh, it's bad. And it's because the marketing has said, oh, it leads to heart disease. But what we've left out is that cholesterol is actually the carrying agent, or it delivers the nutrients around your body that repairs. So you need it for your brain to function right. You need it to repair any injury. When you look at the cholesterol you eat, that isn't the same cholesterol that ends up floating around in your blood. You make cholesterol by delivering nutrients to different places in your body, but it isn't a direct correlation of what you eat isn't what ends up in your blood. In fact, I would contend that you could do a better job of raising the cholesterol and connecting the carbon particles through the carbs you eat as opposed to the fat you eat. So the fat does one thing chemically, the carbs does a different thing chemically, and if we were to tag the carbons and watch where they end up in your system, you're going to connect them closer to what carbohydrates are doing to cholesterol as opposed to the fat that you eat.
So can I add to that question, doctor? So why do you think cholesterol has been so demonized? And why do, like you said, if you ask anybody in the street, they're gonna say, oh my God, I got a lower, I went to Costco and there were all these cholesterol off, cholesterol lower or whatever. So why do you think the average person thinks cholesterol is so bad for them?
Oh, it's so sad. It's almost like it's sinful. So in medicine, so if you go back, let's start 1970s, we're going to talk food pyramid. So in South Dakota, Prescott, he is my son from South Dakota, and his middle school was named George McGovern Middle School. So George McGovern was a senator from South Dakota, and he was the head of the agricultural department committee who helped finalize the food pyramid. And the food pyramid was said, and it really did help out my ancestors, and I'm a 5th generation South Dakotan, so Senator McGovern did a great job for the state of South Dakota, but he recommended, without the evidence to prove it, that we should have the baseline of our diet should be grains. And this was great for the farmers in South Dakota, but it was not great for the people. And American guidelines were copied by countries. It just swept throughout the whole world. The world has adopted that grains are this really great thing and they should make up the basis of our diet. So
is rice a grain? Rice is a grain?
Yeah, rice is a grain.
Rice is a grain, guys? What?
It is a grain. And in the end, when you look at some of the other things, so number one, we had the food pyramid that was not based on science. It was based on a political policy. And all the human flaws that got that policy are fun to dissect, but probably more than we should do on this forum. So the next thing, though, is then we have the marketing of what happens when you have this. So if you only have 3 things to offer people to eat, you have carbs, you have fat, and you have protein. You just told them that carbs, the grain, needed to be the basis. So that means that it must mean that we should lower fat, and we should then also connect that to a lower level of cholesterol. Because if you looked at heart disease and you biopsied it, it was based on this cholesterol. So anyway, the dots connected together in a way that then allowed us a genetic altering of what goes on in your liver through drugs like Lipitor. So the Lipitor that you were prescribed has played some funny games with how we educate doctors. I've heard the same literature come from drug reps to me. As a drug would come on the market, the first place I would hear about it would be a drug rep. And she would come and have this really shiny, or he would come and have this really shiny pamphlet, and it would say 30% reduction in heart attacks.
From what?
From Lipitor. But what they were reporting was a relative risk of reduction. So it went from like 1.6% of the people had heart attacks without Lipitor, and then like 1.3% had heart attacks with Lipitor. It is nothing. But the way they made their advertisements and the way they made their...
Sounds so great.
It was wonderful. It was like, oh, I want to reduce the heart disease in my patients by 30%. I'm going to prescribe Lipitor. And, you know, we're busy. I would be several conferences later before somebody's sitting there going, you get that there's only 1 in 100 people that you're preventing a heart attack for, and that data goes away when they're 70 years or older. So it is in the people that are your age group. So that was where I was like, start with your age. If you're above 70, the data is not about you. This is not you. And the second part is we all kind of got hoodwinked because as physicians, we got fed this shiny literature. We were busy. We trusted sources where we should have slowed down and read the articles better. And then, oh my goodness, there's commercials everywhere saying, don't have a heart attack and take cholesterol medicines. And now, as a physician, I get paid better if I reach certain guidelines.
Wow.
And
really? So wait, so there's an incentive for pay based upon...
Based on guidelines. Now, that's really careful. So if you came to see me, one of the things I should work on is getting you towards your ideal body weight. Okay, that sounds like a good plan. I should work on getting your blood pressure controlled because long-term blood pressure increases your risk of dementia and kidney disease and heart disease. And they also will pay me if your cholesterol, specifically your LDL bad cholesterol, is below a certain guideline. So 130 for a certain risk group, less than 100 for another risk group, and oh, you're diabetic, so I'm going to have to get your LDL cholesterol below 70 before they're going to pay me better. Yeah.
Can I say that? So basically you're saying that there is an actual financial incentive on physicians who we trust with, because doctors are gods to people. Like, there's nothing you can say that will beat like a doctor, which is why I'm so glad that you're here. So you're saying that there's actually a financial incentive given to doctors for some of this stuff.
It's paid for performance, and your government is the one who pays
and none of these patients are going to even know what that means then. Wow, that's...
Yeah.
Please subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos. Stay tuned.